peace and power, prosperity, peace, power, and prosperity. It's your comrade and brother, Yafeuh Balogun, back at you again. Talk to you one more time. A little bit of a history lesson, so to speak, of what and why, which I think is very important. Bear with me. I've been up all day ripping and running, so I'm a little short of breath. But nevertheless, I am motivated to talk about this. So I want to discuss why we chose the name Guerrilla Mainframe. Well, I can tell you we were riding down the street. Um, let's see, Melchizedek, they had like a, could get this wrong, like a white Bronco, Mel and Seidah had. We lived over in Timber Park at the time. That's where we lived in Timber Park, in Spring Hollow. And at this time, we were patrolling the communities, both of these communities, at the same time, and kind of had some official status in terms of our job was to patrol the community and get rid of and deter crime and things of this nature. But then we ran into issues with the police because I guess we were sort of kind of doing that job as well. So that there was some issues with the police. Nevertheless, we was riding down the freeway, Interstate 30, getting on the 45. If you're from Dallas, then you know when you're going 30 west, traveling on 30 east, going in the westward direction, then you get a chance to go 45 south towards Houston. We was on that bridge, and Seidah said, "What about choosing the name Guerrilla Mainframe?" And we had been struggling before that because at one particular time, well, I knew we wanted something dealing with gorilla, and I knew we wanted something dealing with gorilla because we was all into the whole concept of Vogue job, like George Jackson, that type of militancy to it, Black August, that sort of thing. But definitely reading about the Vietnamese and how they fought guerrilla warfare against uh, against the United States, and ultimately really won just because their ability to fight back, fight an imperialist army known as the United States. And now before that, 10 years before that, I think they defeated the French in Dien Bien Phu and ran the French out of Vietnam as well. So we were very had a lot of admiration for the Vietnamese. I think, and fun thing about that is my daddy was in the Marine Corps and he was fought combat missions in Vietnam. Funny thing about that that uh 35 maybe 40 years later his son would have a some sort of admiration for the Vietnamese and their ability to survive war with the United States and their allies and things of that nature. But nevertheless, say to say, Guerrilla Mainframe. That came out of her mouth. That's what she told me, or told me and Mel, I should say. We was riding in a Bronco. I think that was Bronco, and that name stuck. We liked it. We liked it. I mean, it was felt like it was a good name. Really, honestly, kind of represented what we wanted to be or what we aspired to be. In the first, Guerrilla Mainframe was like this selective group. You had to be sort of selective, and I think it's kind of like that now. It's not like anybody ever had the choice to join Guerrilla Mainframe. I remember after Rakim got out of jail in 2018 when he beat the federal case, the Black Identity Extremist case, that different folks around the country was trying to figure out how they can start chapters of Guerrilla Mainframe, and I had nothing to do with that. That was mainly Rakim and a few other folks that kind of dealt with that real close because they would really contact Rakim, and and ask him about joining Guerrilla Mainframe. And ultimately, I think Guerrilla Mainframe just wasn't into that. We wasn't into attempting to try to let anybody just join us or take the name in a different city that we really didn't have a close contact with. I should put it that way. Or we really didn't know. I think that's how we did it. Another thing is the reason why we chose Gorilla Mainframe because at the time there was a couple of different variations of Panther type groups, and we wasn't wanting to be just another Panther type group. We felt that the Panther as a symbol, sort of had, by the time that we came into existence, we talking about 2008. Panther as a symbol really had been a beat up symbol, been beat up a lot, and all the damage wasn't necessarily done by the power structure. Some of it was done internally, and so we decided we didn't want to be like for example, we didn't want to be like Panthers. That wasn't our goal. We didn't want to posture as that because we respected what the elders said from the Huey P. Newton Foundation about that sort of thing about a new Panther formation. We respected what they stated, and they was critical. I think for good reason. We recognized that the Black Panther Party started in 1966 and ended in 1982, and that's essentially it. Of course, there's in this generation there have been other formations that have popped up and has attempted to try to revamp what the Panthers stood for, and hats off to them for taking on the mantle. But Guerrilla Mainframe, as its own independent organization, didn't want to say that we was carrying on the legacy of another group, especially another group that had the type of public attention that the Panthers had during their heyday, or during the height of their movement. So we didn't want to try to say we was that. Plus, I think some of the elders had some criticisms of this generation groups that aspired to be similar to the Panthers. And so we really wanted to dodge all of that. We really wanted to dodge all of that and just kind of start fresh. So for us, Gorilla Mainframe was that engine. Gorilla Mainframe was the vehicle that we chose. And really the rest is just history. But I kind of want to express that to try to bring some understanding of why Gorilla Mainframe chose that name. And I imagine if it's your first time hearing it, or if you heard it a couple times, just trying to figure out what's to the name. Um, why did you guys chose that name? It just we wanted to be our own entity and stand on our own experiences. It does not necessarily mean we wasn't interested in learning from the previous uh, generation, because as I expressed, we have had some very close relationships with the previous generation, but we wanted to be able to stand on our own, make our mistakes, learn from the previous generation mistakes, and just try to do better and try to pass on what we could to the future generations that have yet to come. If you can do me a big favor, if you can like, share, subscribe to the channel, that would be major. That would really help out the platform. I've already decided that we're gonna keep going and we're gonna keep talking about things that's going on in the community. Today, just a little while ago, I was honored to have a conversation or two about Mr. Fahim J. Minka. who was the coordinator of the original Dallas chapter Black Panther Party here in the city of Dallas. And it's their story that really inspired me to sort of do this talk and do this channel and try to continue to grow and fight through that process because their story is not often told. So it's part of my mission to make sure that the Dallas chapter, Black Panther Party, along with their comrades in SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, story gets told. And that's what we about. Peace, power, and prosperity. Like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you.